Hey friends, welcome to Om with Orlee. Today we'll be doing a 30-minute wall yin yoga class. And we'll be needing a few pieces of equipment, and I'll talk to you about what we'll be doing. But before we get started, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. It'll really help me out a lot so that I can connect with more people and help them as well, just like yourself. So let's grab some equipment. We'll need some yoga blocks. If you don't have yoga blocks, you can use a stack of books or whatever you have been using or come up with. Otherwise, if you would like to purchase some yoga blocks, I'm going to put the link down below in the description, as well as a pillow or a couch cushion, or if you do have a yoga bolster, that would be really helpful. And if you are looking into one, I'm going to add the link where I purchased mine down below. And mine actually isn't even a traditional yoga bolster. It's a meditation cushion. I really like to use it as a yoga bolster. So that link will be down in the description below as well. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Grab one of your yoga blocks and sit on top of it just like I am here. It's placed under my seat just like that. If you need some more elevation, you can always sit on it toaster level, as I've heard, or even up on the highest level. And so as you arrive, allowing your body to settle right here, right now, knowing that we will be sitting in each yogic shape for about 3 minutes. So really opening up our muscles, our bones, or I should say joints. And in this way, preparing our body for stillness, for shavasana afterwards, and more importantly, preparing our body for the space that comes with stillness that we get to carry out into our day today. So why don't we all take a conscious and collective breath together as you inhale to fill up your belly, and then exhale to let it go. And a couple more times just like that as you inhale and exhale. Today's sequence is going to be a really good one to open up the spine and loosen it up a bit, as we'll be moving it in all different directions. So we'll begin with some cat-cows. Inhale, take your palms onto the fronts of your knees, reach your heart forward, gaze up to the sky, pulling your heart forward with your hands, and then exhale as you take your chin to chest and round the back. And again, pulling on your thighs or your knees. Inhale, reach your heart forward, gaze up. And instead of actually pulling, it's more of a pulling energetic direction as you exhale, chin to chest, round. And once more, inhale. And exhale. Good, and then come to your flat back. And then find your way onto all fours here. Let's find a few cat-cows in our tabletop as you inhale, heart forward, gazing up, and exhale, chin to chest and round. And 2 more, inhale, and exhale. You did the hardest part, you showed up, you're here. I'm so glad you're here. Thank you for making it. And then coming to a flat back, traditional tabletop. Go ahead and sit back onto your heels, moving the block aside. So we're doing some wall yin yoga, like I said. So definitely making sure you have space on your wall. As you can see, I actually don't have much space. It doesn't take much, but just some clearance, a little bit on the sides. So make sure your blocks are close enough to the wall so that you'll be able to reach them as we either go onto our back or onto our belly, and our legs are a bit limited by the wall. Take your cushion, whichever one you grabbed, right in front of your knees, and then come on back into a tabletop. And shift your heels all the way back to the wall. You can take the pillow back just a little bit as well so that it's underneath your chest. And then you'll slide one knee back to the wall, taking your toes up the wall. And then the other one, so supporting yourself with your hands and your back knee, making sure you're on the meaty part of your knee, just above the kneecap. And then you'll slide the opposite knee and toes onto the wall. And then from here, settling your chest down on top of the pillow for just a little bit of support. If you need to bring it in a little bit, go ahead. And then come on forward into a supported Sphinx pose. And as I settle down here, I'm noticing that my knees actually have a bit of space away from the wall. So pressing my elbows into the ground, making sure my shoulders stay away from my ears, and sliding one knee back at a time, just an inch or two, to find the connection with the wall. And then notice how I slid my elbows forward to create a little space in my shoulders. When they're back here, it's really easy to get your shoulders into your ears, cranking the back of the neck. So making sure you've got space in the shoulders, really allowing for the support of the pillow underneath your chest, and a long back of the neck. Finding your breath here as you get a little compression in your low back from this mini back bend. And if the back bend is too much, you can always fold your hands and rest on top of your chest. Your forehead can come down to your hands if that feels right. And just as we settled in the beginning of practice, finding this new pose, the beginning of this new shape, and settling right here, right now, arriving right here, right now. Noticing where you might be holding tension. Perhaps it's your glutes because the hamstrings are shortened. Maybe it's your jaw or your shoulders into your ears again. So just going over, taking inventory and noticing where you can let go easily. And simply be right here, right now. And we've just got a few, less than a minute to be with the sensations that this shape creates. Noticing what those are, where it might feel good, the stretch in the front of my hips. Definitely feeling that. Letting in that stretch, that restoration. And then from here, slide your right knee up towards your right elbow. So it'll be just behind that block. And you can keep your heel close in towards your glute, towards the center of your body, or you can just let the foot rest on the wall to any degree. Might be just stacked. I'll try to move this so you can see underneath your knee. So you're creating a right angle with the right leg and allowing for more sensation in the groin that way. Less sensation modification would be to take the heel back in towards the center line of your body. Right? The more you move it out, the more you're going to feel. Neither way is the right way. Neither way is the wrong way. One is not better than the other. It just is what it is. It's what your body needs in this moment, which is great. It's great that we're taking the time to give our body what it needs and truly give our body what it needs. If it's saying to back off, just simply taking the time to rest and relax, not going for any certain outcome. It's not about becoming more flexible even. It's just simply about being right here with yourself. Even if coming to this class, the goal for you was to become more flexible, that's great. And now that you're here, can you take the time to simply be with yourself, to be with this experience of becoming more flexible? And that doesn't mean to go for the end of the range of motion for your stretch, because it doesn't have to happen overnight. We can enjoy the process all the way through by simply letting in that we paused to take the time right here, right now, for ourselves. And maybe in due time, we'll become more flexible physically and mentally. And go ahead and start to slide the right knee back. And then we'll switch sides. So the left knee slides up towards your left shoulder. And assessing what your body needs. Let's do this so you could see. It might be the heel coming in or the heel going out. It might be really different from the first side, and that's okay too. And again, you're always invited to set your elbows out to the sides. Let your chest be heavy down towards the ground. You might be able to hear the pitter-patter of my little creature walking around. I was hoping he'd come visit, but he made a U-turn. So if you're practicing at home and you've got pets, you know what it's like. Some of them love to get into the workout with you, like get under your feet. Or whatever it is, meditating with you, stretching with you. I know mine listens to my meditation teachers when I listen to them here and my meditations, and it seems like he's meditating, but he could also be sleeping. So noticing how this side is different from the first. without calling it bad or good or wrong or right, just noticing what is here. And if you've been up on your shoulders and now they're getting tired, you are more than welcome to let everything go. And again, noticing where there's any obvious tension and breathing into that space, noticing your breath right in that location. Breathing space into that location. And giving that location attention. Go ahead and slide your left knee back. And then take your palms underneath your shoulders, pressing your knees down into the ground, your palms into the ground, and then press up into a tabletop with your toes up on the wall. And then slide your right knee forward so that you have a little bit more support. Let's take the pillow off to the side, and then you'll grab onto your blocks here. Some of us may not need blocks, some of us do, like myself. So taking both blocks a little bit closer towards the left side edge of your mat. And then from here, using your core just for a second, we'll hike up the right foot just outside of the left block, and then allow your hips to be heavy here as we allow the front of the left hip to open. And anytime it's too much, just shift the hips back some. Let it be more about your quad. More than welcome to shift in and out of that. Making sure you're on the top of your knee where it's meaty, the left knee that is. And the more you have these blocks underneath your shoulders, the more support you'll feel. And you're invited to come down to your elbows, to lower the blocks to either level 2, level 1, no blocks. So many options here. If you are going to take your elbows down to the high blocks, just being careful that you are not allowing them to topple over, right? And just settling in to the front of the left hip and quadricep opening up here. And in all these different shapes, noticing where it is that you naturally and by habit, most likely, where is the pattern of holding tension? Are we getting a little visitor? And so wherever that is, that gripping and tightness, taking a deep breath and seeing if it can easily release. And if not, that's okay. We might back off, or maybe it's just a bit of a challenge to be in that space and to just be with that challenge. Noticing when we go into overwhelm, passing the challenge and going into overwhelm, that's when we back off. That's when we take care of ourselves. Right? And keeping your shoulders out of your ears. You have 2 ears. And then if your blocks are on their highest level, take them down 1 or 2 levels so that you have more stability, just like when we were on our elbows. Make sure you're on your hands, and then slide the right knee back, just behind the block. And then from here, you'll slide the left knee forward, just behind its block. The right knee will go back, toe up onto the wall. And then this time your blocks will be a little bit leaning towards the right. Pressing down into your blocks, making sure they're nice and firm and stable. Slide your left foot outside of your left block. Letting your hips be heavy and going for symmetry here, but then assessing once you're there. If it's not working, move into going down onto your elbows, getting rid of the blocks, lowering the blocks a couple levels, and just assessing what your body needs today. Making this, or at least taking the time to notice that you are taking the time to be with yourself, to take care of yourself. This is an act of self-care. To stretch the body out, but in a way that does not include judgment, that has a kind attention to it. Taking care of ourselves, befriending and showing up for ourselves. Here we've shown up, but do we show up with rigidity, or do we show up with compassion and softness and kindness? Think about a friend. You show up for a friend, but then once you get there, you're like, okay, I'm here. Let's get this over with. I mean, sometimes we do. But ideally, right, we don't want to treat our friends that way. So it should be the same for ourselves. Befriending ourselves through any sort of challenges, difficulty, even if it's tightness and a stretch. I'm going to lower myself onto my elbows only because I'm going for symmetry. I lowered myself onto my elbows about this point into the shape on the other side. So just exploring, and you're more than welcome to take any option at any time. Maybe your shoulders get tired and it's time to move down to your elbows. And I can't wait to hear what you guys think of these shapes or what I've talked about, what resonated with you, if you were able to let go, or if it was a struggle, if the struggle was real, right? Like holding on, it was just really hard to let go. And that happens, that's okay too. Leave a comment down below, I'll definitely respond. I wanna hear what you guys have to say. It definitely matters how this practice resonates in your body and in your mind. So let's definitely connect. I can respond to any questions as well as shares that you might have from these shapes. Something doesn't work for you or feels weird to you. Very valid. Let's come onto our hands. Again, avoid the highest level of the blocks. Take it down 1 or 2 levels or no blocks. And then slide your knee down. Slide the right knee down as well. And then come off of the blocks. Setting the blocks off to the side and then taking your cushion, take your cushion all the way up to the wall. Okay. This can be awkward sometimes to get our legs up onto the wall, so we'll do the best that we can with everything we have, right? So coming to sit onto the cushion with either hip, I'm on my left hip, touching the wall, right? Knees, left hip, touching the wall. So much so that I have to support myself with my right hand here. And I'm going to slowly turn towards the wall as I take my legs up the wall. So walking my left hand back so I've got support behind me as I start to turn. I even like put my hip up onto the wall as I turn, not just turning my hands, but turning my hips. And if it's so tight here in your hamstrings, you're more than welcome to walk down to your elbows to give yourself some space. And then go ahead and kick up that other leg. And now check it out, I'm all like awkward, right? So walking the elbows to the center of the mat, coming all the way down onto my back, even though I'm still super awkward here, that's okay, we have time. Dig your heels into the wall, lifting your hips so that they can come back to center here. Now with your arms firmly into the ground, your head firmly into the ground, backs of your shoulders firmly into the ground, dig your heels into the wall, and then lift your hips and sneak them forward a little bit closer to the wall. It'll take a few tries. So you'll lift and snuggle your hips forward, and they don't have to come all the way to the wall. It also depends on how open your hamstrings are. So your hamstrings might not want you all the way up onto the wall, and that's okay too. I suggest about 6 inches or so away from the wall. As you relax right here with legs up on the wall. Okay, allowing the blood flow to reverse, gravity reverse. And then take one of your blocks on the first level. And you know, we're all different shapes and sizes. So first level is what works for me. You might need to go up 1 or 2 levels. You'll take your right ankle on top of your left thigh. And this might be enough. You want to feel this on the outer right hip. And then you might want to bend into the left foot just until, wherever that might be, you feel a good enough sensation in your right hip. And only you're going to know that. If it feels like too much or overwhelming, definitely back off. And then just get to a place where you feel a good enough stretch, and you can take it even further by taking your elbow onto the block and pressing your knee away from you. Okay, making sure that you're on the ankle bone and not the foot, but the ankle bone. And you might find that after being here for some time, you might be able to go even lower. Check out if that left hip is hiking up a bunch. And if by pressing your right knee, you're just turning your hips so that your left hip is hiking and your right hip is lowered. You can always help yourself out by taking your left foot in towards the center. That left hip will start to drop down. You can even help it with your left hand. And watching that right arm, so the right elbow is propped up onto the block. Perhaps the right shoulder will automatically start sneaking up into the ear. So I'm watching out for that and making sure you're plugging your shoulder down away from the ear, creating space in your neck. Coming back to your breath whenever you're ready. Whatever doesn't feel good here, get rid of it. If the block feels awkward there, get rid of it. If it feels not right with the pillow underneath your sacrum, get rid of it. These are all just suggestions, and this is your practice. Assessing now maybe a little bit more of a bend with that left leg so you can get deeper into your right hip. maybe even taking a moment now to notice how you're further settling into your practice here, as it's been some time now. We've been here for a while. And slowly sliding your left leg up so the left leg is straight, then taking your right leg straight next to it. And if you haven't already, you're more than welcome to get rid of that block so it's not hiking your arm up. And then we'll take the left block just by your side rib here so that you can prop your elbow up on it. Left ankle on top of your right thigh. Again, it's the ankle, the bony part of the ankle. And then maybe bending into that leg if that feels right for you today. And if it feels good, propping your left knee back with your left palm as you press your left shoulder down and away from your ear. And again, if you notice your right hip hiking up some, just simply sliding your right foot in towards the left just by an inch or two might help your pelvis be neutral. Noticing your breath right here, right now. Noticing if your mind becomes distracted, runs away with thoughts. What am I going to do after this? What am I going to eat? And just coming right back to here. It's not wrong that your mind ran away. It's just doing what it is trained to do or what it's designed to do, to think. And when we remember, just simply coming right back to the practice. Noticing if that shoulder started to creep up. Mine definitely did. And just pressing the shoulder down. Giving your neck some space. And then we'll straighten the right leg. Left leg straightens, moving the block out of the way. And bend into both the knees so that your feet are flat onto the wall. And pressing the wall away from you so that your hips can lift. And then slide the bolster out from underneath so that your back is now flat on the ground. Taking both knees into your chest. We'll start by taking both knees to the left, and you can always take a block in between the legs or your yoga bolster or pillow and come into an easy twist. Teeing the arms. So we've extended the spine, we've flexed it. Lots of extension. And now twisting it. Noticing the sensations in your body in this shape, which is noticing your experience, part of your experience, right here, right now, coming into present moment awareness. And with that noticing of sensations, noticing what may feel good, what's opened up. And in that feeling good, letting it in, really taking it in. There might be a part of this shape that feels good. Really taking that in. And if the mind has run off once again, just coming right back here. As we switch sides, you can keep the yoga block in between your thighs. And perhaps right here at the center, you press your feet on the wall just for a little adjustment of your hips, pressing them in, lifting the hips, bringing them back to center, and then over to the right. And this side could be completely different. Maybe the first side didn't feel as great as I was speaking to, but maybe this side does. Twisting the spine in a completely opposite direction. You might notice a little less space on this side, or maybe more. Noticing the quality of thought in our last few moments of practice. As you begin to bring your legs back up through center, taking the block off to the side and perhaps adjusting your hips one last time here for your Shavasana. And so hopefully you can stay just for a few moments in your Shavasana with me today, just before you go. And if you have to run off, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and check out the other videos, meditations, talks in the channel that might resonate with you. Tell your friends, come visit, and they can get all stretched out and learn meditation along with you. But really take this moment to recognize that you showed up here for yourself today, taking care of yourself, doing the, all the rage now, self-care, and notice the effects of your practice, the space that you've created in your body, in your mind, and really letting that in so that you can easily remember it when you're in your day-to-day, maybe in a situation of difficulty. It becomes easier to remember to come back to spacious awareness, to create better choices when we actually take the time to notice that we have done it, that we have created space and taken the time. We just more easily pick it up when we're in those times of difficulty. It's like a tool belt we're carrying around with us, and we just easily can pick up the tool we need in that moment when we are conscious of those tools. And we become conscious of those tools by taking the time to acknowledge that this is what we've done and that it feels good, that it creates space. So if you're ready, take your knees into your chest, roll over to one side, making your way up onto your seat. My little small nook over here. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I can't wait to do this with you again. These yin classes will go up weekly, and look out for our next meditation challenge. And check out the description below for those links to get a cushion or yoga blocks. And again, leave comments. Let me know that you did the practice, that you showed up, you took care of yourself, and any questions or shares. I would love to hear from you. All right, friends, until next time, I will catch you later.